Not focus on two contradictory things at the same time. You're either focusing on love or you're either focusing on lack. So you're either focusing on the blessings or you're either focusing on your mistakes. You cannot focus on this two at the same time. It's impossible. You could go ahead and fucking try it right now. You cannot think blessings and karma's whatever. That's not really karma, but that's what people call it, right? You can't think blessings and karma at the same time. You can only think one. So if you're busy thinking about your blessings, you can't be thinking about the bad shit from the past. Things on other people. That shit works. Everyone is you pushed out. I don't want to get into a big long thing again, so I'll try to condense it. Everyone is you pushed out. So in essence, when you're wishing harm on someone else, like you guys, have you ever been driving and somebody is driving like a fucking maniac and you're like, I wish there was a cop around here so that they could get in trouble. And then either later on in that drive or later on in that day or maybe the next day, you drive past a cop when you're doing something like you maybe shouldn't be doing and you get pulled over. You wished that on the other person, but everyone is you pushed out. So you were essentially wishing it on yourself. When you wish anything on other people, you are also wishing it for yourself. So when you're wishing for someone's like downfall or for karma to catch up with them or for them to get caught doing something, whatever, you're also wishing it on yourself. But it goes in reverse. So when you wish good things on other people, when you wish blessings, when you set intentions for them, that's why in like the big manifestation lounge group, when we were doing intention work last night and last week, I love that shit because every intention I set for someone else is also an intention for me. When you wish blessings and set intentions for other people, you are essentially setting those for yourself. When I was working through all of the money shit, would set intentions that everyone I came across would receive money. Everyone I came across was going to be infinitely blessed. Anyone who wanted to work with me would find the money multiplied. Partly because when they find the money, then they can join and pay me, right? Like, that's a truth. But also because when I'm wishing these good things for them, I'm also giving it to myself. So when you find yourself like being really fucking annoyed with someone and you're like, fuck you, I wish that you would just choke on an apple seed. Instead, be like, you know what? I wish you peace. I'm setting the intention that they love themselves. I'm setting the intention that shit works out for them, even though I'm not going to be involved in it, and call it good. By doing that, you are also giving yourself blessings. Your intuition knows how to navigate the erratic waters. Your intuition knows how to get out of the funk. Your only responsibility is to shut your mind the fuck up long enough to hear your intuition. And when you do get those little dings, be like, okay. Like when you get a little ding to post something, but you're like, oh, I can't do that. I don't want people to know that. Fucking post it. That's going to build up that acceptance of yourself. When you get that little ding to speak up on something, but you're like, no, it's not my place. Like, fucking do it anyway. When you get that little ding to maybe shift something in your business because something isn't fulfilling you the right way, but you're like, no, I might lose money if I do that. Fucking do it anyway. It'll help you embrace your authenticity. So going with the flow for you will happen by listening to your intuition, because your intuition is by definition, like, it's just fucking calm. It's peaceful. It's natural. It's a state of ease. It's a state of flow. By listening to it, you are going with the flow. Even when your intuition says shit like, take a nap today, or don't fucking work today. You've been working too much lately. You're overwhelmed. Take a fucking break. Like, your intuition will tell you, boom, 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 boom. So listen to it. It'll help you go with the flow. So your ego doesn't even have to fucking be involved when you trust that shit is working out, when you trust that your intuition knows it's shit, when you trust that when you set the goal, it always comes to you, because that is how universal law works. When you are secure and firm in those beliefs, you don't have to give a fuck about how to make it happen. So when you work on, instead of the forcing and the work, and you instead focus on knowing it's a for sure thing, kind of like I was in high school, then that is all you have to do. That is all you have to do. Focus on getting yourself to believe that it is a for sure thing. And then going with the flow is easy. Following your intuition is easy. I hope I did that in 5 minutes. Embracing what you're actually capable of and what you're actually here on the world to do. Keeping it small. I think maybe compared to where you're at right now, your goals are big, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not. But when you start thinking about the grand scheme of things, when you start thinking big, you're like, whoa, I couldn't do that. And so you don't even let yourself go there. You don't let yourself feel like, what would it be like if I had $1 billion, right? Like, this is an exaggeration. I don't know exactly what your specific thoughts are. This is an exaggeration, but so you're thinking like, what would it be like to have $1 billion? And before you can even contemplate it, you're like, that is too big. That is too big. $1 million is probably the biggest that will ever go. Even $1 million is too big, but we can think about $1 million. That's fine. Maybe we should think about like 500 grand. And so you keep like talking yourself down because that one feels way too big. That one feels big. This one is smaller than other people's goals, but we could maybe do that someday. And so you're bringing yourself down to maybe I could do it someday instead of what you actually want. So you're not actually dreaming, you're letting your ego take over. This is saying to you, start fucking dreaming. If your first thought is billionaire, fucking billionaire it is for you then. If your first thought is I'm going to have a company that brings in $2 billion a year and it's going to change half of the planet, right? If those are your first thoughts, let those be your thoughts. Let those be your goals. They keep coming up for a reason and you keep holding them down. And so you're never quite like fulfilled, or you're never quite fully embracing the future and what it'll look like, because you've toned it down so fucking much that your higher self is like, this isn't even fucking fun. Let yourself dream big. You guys, I emphasize this in probably every single fucking video, but we're gonna do it again because it's really important. When you have thoughts about what you want, like I want $1 billion, I completely fucking understand that Miss Susie with $150 in her savings account, thinking she wants $1 billion, it feels impossible because you're like, this 150 is a big deal. Where the fuck is $1 billion gonna come from? And so you're like, why would I even think about that? The reason you think about it is because there are infinite versions of you experiencing infinite versions of life. And there is a you that is enjoying billions of dollars, if that is what you've been thinking about, right? The big things you think about it because there is a you that is enjoying it, that is fucking happy, like over the goddamn moon happy, that is appreciating life, that is flowing, and that is living their best life and what they were meant to fulfill. Your higher self knows this you is happy. This you loves its life. And so I'm going to give you the thought that it would be nice. I'm going to give you the thought that it's something you would enjoy. Because I know you enjoy it because it already exists. We get so tripped up in like what's possible or what we could make happen that we forget the shit already exists. Absolutely everything you ever think about wanting, it's because it already exists. When I was younger, I thought I was going to grow up and be a famous singer, right? That is what made me happy. That just means there is a me out there who is like Britney Spears in her prime, fucking living it up. I obviously never, like, I didn't follow the intuition and whatever on the path to get there because my depression went cray cray and I didn't do it. But there is a version of me out there that is doing it. Just because I'm not seeing it right now, right here, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It exists. If I decided right now that's what I wanted to do, I could make it happen because it already exists. I don't give a shit about it anymore. So it's not happening. But your goals, whatever the fuck it is that you want, when you think those big thoughts, it's because it already exists. It is not impossible. If it was impossible, your higher self couldn't think about it. It would be very difficult to think of something that is impossible. But it exists, you enjoy it, and so your higher self is like, go here, want this. Allow yourself to actually dream. When you get that, this would be nice, stop. This would be nice. Okay, done. You're not watering it down anymore. You're not scaling it back. You're not thinking about what's realistic. It's, this is what would be nice. I just spit on you guys. You can't feel it, but I'm sorry. So you're like, this would be nice, and stop. What you do, you write it down. This is what, so today I thought about $1 billion. And you sit when you meditate, you close your eyes and you're like, what would it feel like to have $1 billion? What would I be like with $1 million? What would I think about if I had $1 billion? I think I just said million, but I meant billion. What would I do if I had $1 billion? How does that feel? How does it feel? And you keep getting more and more honest with yourself, right? At first you're like, I'd feel like a rich motherfucker. And then you're like, I would feel super secure. And then you're like, fuck, I would feel accomplished. I would feel powerful. I would feel worthy. I would feel loved. I would feel safe. I would feel whatever. And you just allow yourself to feel those things now. Like, feel like you had that big goal, the big one, have not watered it down at all, and you feel like you have it right now. Is you write it down. Earlier when we were talking about forgiveness and how your higher self views you as like a little toddler who's so adorable and cute. An infant, like holding yourself like you're an infant. So when you're feeling scared, I feel like there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of uncertainty. I feel like it's a lot deeper than what you let on, like a lot of insecurity about the future. A lot of insecurity about the future, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of overwhelm, and a fuck ton of like hopelessness, right? That point where you're like, fuck you, universe. Are you just being a dick to me for no reason? Did I do something to piss you off? Like, why are you treating me this way? Some shame, and there's some shame in there too. For you, with all of these really big emotions, like, they're big emotions. They feel big. They are big. And when we resent ourselves for holding them, they become even bigger. For you, this is just saying brand new, kind of like a brand new baby that enters the world and has no idea what the fuck is going on. I know this isn't your first life or your first run on earth. What it kind of feels like, so you've had like past lives and stuff before, and it almost was like it was getting too easy for you. So you set, like, your higher self kind of set some sort of a reset button where you went back farther on levels because it was too fucking easy. You were like learning the lessons too fast. You were whatever. And it wasn't like, it wasn't as enjoyable to learn anymore because it was too easy. So your higher self kind of hit the reset button, set you in honors, living, honors, human being, whatever. And so you're running a course that's a little more difficult, and it's brand new to you because the reset button, you forgot the shit from before, and it's more advanced. Be extra super kind to yourself, like extra super kind to yourself. Like you would be if you were holding a baby that just barely came out of a vagina, right? You know that baby is like freaking out. It's like, why the fuck is it so bright? Why am I feeling things? Why do I suddenly feel hungry for the first time ever? Why is it hard to sleep? Why is it hard to stay awake? Why is it so loud? Everything used to be so muffled and now it's like in my face. Like you're overwhelmed when it all happen, like, you know that baby is overwhelmed. Treat yourself that same way, like with kid gloves. I don't know if you saw, but so right here, her hands, she's like cradling herself. Oddly enough, this is how I sleep, like even with the one hand on my tit and everything. But like cradling herself, that is how to treat yourself. Remind yourself, this is brand new. I am on the advanced training course for this human being shit. And so it feels difficult. That's okay. It's okay that I'm scared because it's brand new. It's okay that I'm overwhelmed. And so it's just about you really holding yourself and really supporting yourself in this life that is completely different than anything you've ever done before. This mermaid protects her heart. That's why she's holding her tit.